Hey guys, it's Jess from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a very exciting video that I cannot even begin to explain how excited I am that this is happening right now, because we all know the Bridgertons came out. I've been dying to read historical romances like every day, and I reached out to Lacey and Lisa and I'm like, hey guys, when do we want to do another round of our historical romance readathon? Both of them were 100% on board for doing it in January, so we are going to be doing it in January. So let me pull up all of our information. If you want to check out all three of our Instagram accounts, everything is going to be posted there. Lacey made the gorgeous story templates and all of the fun things announcing the readathon. So we are going to be doing the historical romance readathon for a week. It is going to start January 15th and end on January 21st. Starts on a Friday, and I'm excited. I will be back in school. I've been spoiled these past 2 weeks. This time around we do have a bingo board that is 4x4, so there are 16 challenges. You can do whatever you want, get the whole board, you can double up, you can just look for a bingo, whatever you want. We're excited. We are going to have a group book, so I'm going to do the group book first and I'll go through all the challenges. Our group book is going to be A Notorious Vow by Joanna Shupe. I'm aware this is book 3 in the series, and I know some people might be annoyed by that. We are on brand by choosing books that are not the first book in the series. For the first book we read, it was Joanna Lindsay. That was book 2 in the series. Then we read Lady Sophia's Lover by Lisa Kleypas, which is I think book 2 or 3 in the series. This one's book 3 in the series. We chose this one because the hero is deaf and he is the reclusive neighbor of our heroine. Her family was disgraced, so she's from London. She arrives in New York City and her parents want her to meet a wealthy husband, but she then turns to her reclusive neighbor, a darkly handsome and utterly compelling inventor, for help, and he agrees to the marriage. So this sounds so good. Desiree from Genki Reader actually gifted this to me for my birthday, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to, and I'm very excited. I might binge the first 2 before getting to this one, but I love how we have a deaf hero. I just recently read a Chloe Lease contemporary romance novel with our deaf hero, and I've loved that book, so I'm very excited to read this. I don't think I've read a deaf hero in a historical romance before, so I'm very excited. And now for the challenges, we have 16 challenges, so that is a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and go through them. This one counts for a lot of them, and then I'm going to go through some books that I want to add on to my TBR. There's not set in stone or anything, but these are ones I think you guys would be interested in as well, that I'm interested in. So first of all, the challenges. We have different social classes, and I wanted to do this because An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn is one of my favorites in the Bridgerton series, and Lisa hates this trope, but I love it, so we decided to add it because I wanted to, and I love this trope. I love it when they can't get married because they're different social classes. Joanna Shupe's Uptown Girl series is pretty much this whole social class difference kind of plot line, so I love that one. We have a new to you author, which shouldn't be too hard. Recommended to you, so I know that this one definitely could count for that for me because Desiree recommended this to me, but I have a different one I'm going to choose for that. Marriage of Convenience, which this works for as well. Then we have A Damaged Hero. We have Joanna Shupe, because we always use our author on the bingo board that we choose for the group book. So yes, this. Blue on the cover, which this has blue on the cover. We have Published Before 2000, which is always what we have. I think we've had it every time, just something old school to add to your TBR. Recent release, meaning 2020 or 2021. I do have a couple arcs I could read for this, so I'm excited we're trying to support new historical romance authors as well. Has a step back. If you don't know what a step back is, it is the picture that is often on the back of the front cover, or I think if it's on the back cover, I think that counts too. This one doesn't have one, but sometimes, I don't think I have any next to me, sometimes there is this image just on the back, and that counts as a step back as well. We have this this book covers like half the board. Shirtless man on the cover or the step back. You could say he's shirtless because it's coming off. He does count as shirtless. I have Vivid by Beverly Jenkins, which has a shirtless man on the cover. Night Song, he's shirtless. Everything I'm holding up, he's got his shirt coming off. Everything I have next to me. I just pulled a stack off my shelf for my thumbnail, and these all have shirtless men on the cover. Should not be too hard to find. This one might be hard, and it is a standalone historical romance. I'm excited for this one though because I do end up getting bogged down by a lot of series, so it'd be fun to just read a standalone historical romance. Then we have a ripped bodice on the cover, and this one I didn't even realize he's kind of pulling down her dress, so that's technically like a ripped bodice. I don't know if you would also consider this one a ripped bodice. He is again pulling down her dress. A lot of times like her back is ripped, so I feel like this also does work with ripped bodice because he is definitely pulling down that dress and it looks like it's coming apart in the back. So ripped bodice, we love it to see it in our historicals. This one I'm really excited for, and that is indie published. So that means it is independently published. Typically you can find those on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. So check Goodreads or Amazon to see if what you want to read is indie published. A used book, which a lot of mine are. I get a lot of mine from Half Price Books or Thrift Books or Better World Books, or you can use the library. I think audiobooks definitely would work for this as well, because technically the audiobook is used if you are using your library or some sort of streaming service for your audiobook. So I'm excited for this one as well. And then the last one is one of my favorite tropes, and that is a widowed heroine, and I do have one I'm really excited for to read for this, and I just love widowed heroines. The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie is one of those. One of my favorite books of all time, so definitely excited for this one. We did talk about having a square for an author of color, but for us we didn't want people to just read Beverly Jenkins, check it off, and go on their merry way. So we didn't make that a challenge, but I'm challenging you to try to pick up some sort of diverse historical romance, whether it is a hero or heroine of color, something that is inclusive of other experiences, because I know a big criticism of historical romance is that it is very much a white, published, and character driven genre, and so I have a goal of reading at least half diverse historical romances for this readathon. I have 7 on my TBR, including A Notorious Vow. I will link down below a really cool Instagram graphic that someone on Instagram put together of diverse historical romances, whether it is by race or by LGBTQIA+. So check that out. I'll link that down below. I'm gonna get to these 7 historicals that I want to read for this readathon that are all diverse, and then I'll probably pop in some audiobooks of some classic favorite authors I have, but I'm very excited for these. They're not picked out based on trope from the bingo board, but they probably will fit something. So I do have A Notorious Vow, which I'm very, very excited for. Cannot wait to read this. Then I have The Duke Who Didn't by Courtney Milan. I'm very excited for this one. This is definitely recommended to you because Lacey loves this book. She recommended it in one of her videos. I think it was like books you need to read before the end of 2020. I've already ordered my copy. It should be on its way. And this one, our main couple I think like fell in love, but the guy isn't very like serious, and the girl's like, you need to settle down, be serious before I can be with you. So he leaves and comes back, and then I believe he's not serious, and he's like, I can't be that, but we're gonna be together anyways. I'm pretty sure that's the synopsis if I remember correctly. I'm very excited to read a Courtney Milan historical. I also have The Duchess War, which I hope to read. I have it right here. I hope to read this before the readathon because this is the pick what I read next for January for my channel. I'm hoping to read it within the next couple weeks, but if I don't get to it, I'll definitely read it for the readathon. Then I have an indie one, I think. Let me double check that this is indie. I'm pretty sure this is independently published. It is called Outlaw's Delight by Dahlia Rose. This one looks really good. He's a lawman, but then he gets on the wrong side of the law for a crime that he didn't commit. He ends up becoming an outlaw, which he doesn't want to be, but he's accused of something he didn't do, so then he becomes an outlaw. And our heroine runs the bar to the place that he runs away to. So I'm really excited. And they join forces to bring down the man who had done them both wrong. So this one sounds so, so good. I'm really excited. The cover's really pretty too, and that's what really caught my eye. So I'm excited to read this one. Next is Heart in Hand by Rebel Carter. I've heard really good things about Rebel Carter. I'm pretty sure this one's also independently published. This one's actually 2 guys who want to marry the same woman. I think they're best friends. They were in the war together, and she is a mail order bride. And I'm pretty sure like she is married to both of them, but they are not like in love with each other. It's not like all 3 of them together. It's more she just marries 2 men. So I'm interested to see in this. I know Mina from Mina Reads read it and she liked it, so we'll see. It's definitely a very unique premise for historical romance, but I'm open to trying it out. The next one I'm super excited for, and that is A Gentleman Never Keeps Score by Cat Sebastian. So I read a couple of Cat Sebastians. I did read the first book in this series. This is book 2, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the first book in this series. I really liked her other one that I read. That's an MM historical, a lot better than this one. I think the one I read was It Takes Two to Tumble, but I really like The Soldier Scoundrel a lot better. But this one sounds really good. So he's become a recluse after some gossip exposed his secrets, and so he never leaves his house. But someone wants to rob him, and I think he is an ex-boxer, and he needs to rob a painting of his best friend. It reveals something scandalous about her. I don't know if it's like a nude painting. So he breaks into the guy's house trying to steal it, and they fall in love with each other. So that sounds so good. I've already gotten the audiobook for this one. I'm definitely going to be reading this for the readathon. My next pick is definitely because of the cover. This is The Bewildered Bride by Vanessa Riley, and this one, she's a widow, and she gets married, and literally like leaving their wedding, her husband gets murdered. So I think no one believes that they got married, and so she wants to move on with her life. Oh, and I think she was pregnant when he got murdered. So she's a single mom, and it's 4 years later, and they're gonna have a marriage of convenience. So that sounds good. I totally read the synopsis wrong. So actually her husband didn't die. She thought he was murdered, and now he's actually the heir to something. I think he's supposed to be a baron, and he never told her, and he was nearly beaten to death, and he thought she died, and then they get reunited 4 years later. Oh my gosh! So it's not a widow romance. I thought she was gonna be widow. She's not. She thinks she is. What? That sounds good. And the last book I want to read is Unmasked by the Marquess by Cat Sebastian. I actually have a physical copy of this somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. It's somewhere on my shelves. But it's actually with a non-binary main character, which I think is really cool. I've never read any kind of historical romance with that. And a lot of people got really excited when I hauled this a little bit before Christmas. I think I bought this Black Friday from Target, and quite a few people told me in my Instagram stories that they really enjoyed it. So I'm very excited to read this. I don't know too much about the synopsis of it. I did read the synopsis when I bought it and I was interested, so I'm excited to read this one as well. And that's my tentative TBR. I'm probably going to read some audiobooks. I'm trying to read more Lorraine Heath. Might pick up some of Julia Quinn's Smythe Smith series because I'm reading that currently, but I'm super excited for this readathon. Also, we are having a live show and Instagram challenges. Before I forget, our live show is going to be on Lacey's channel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on that Thursday. It's going to be on that Thursday, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. EST, so join us on Lacey's channel talking all about historical romances. We're going to have some Instagram challenges, so check out our Instagrams and our Instagram stories, and make sure you're following all of us. I'll link Lacey and Lisa down below. We are so excited to read historicals for a week. Make sure that you are considering picking up some diverse reads for the historical romance readathon. I just went through a ton. I have my resource down below for you to check out, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.